Welcome to Scholar Opportunity Nexus. Yes, in this session, we are going to do something very interesting, right? In every programming language, let's not go to programming language. In every language, right, we speak to understand. And then one critical thing of it is we should also be able to count, do additions, these basic arithmetic operations, at least in every language that we speak, right? In English, one, two, three, four. In your local language, you are able to count, right? You're able to count. Sometimes you even mix the English and then the local language to count sometimes. Yes. So the same thing applies to programming languages, right? Most of them are in English. So definitely we need to find a way to see how this programming language also manipulates numbers in their language. And then so we need to actually formalize that. So today, Python is no exception to that. So we are going to take our time to actually do that. So the one of the operation that we see first is addition. That's the basic one. We should be able to add two numbers. And if you're following us so far, you are doing well because little by little we are adding tools to our tools, right? We are adding more tools to our package, which we'll be using to solve problems. Because programming language, we are basically doing all this to understand the syntax, see how to use these things, and then we'll be using that to solve a lot of problems, create programs. So let's relax and take our time to actually follow up. So the first one we said we are going to do what? Do addition. Yes. So remember, one of the two that we learned previously was variables, right? So we want to use numbers as well, but here we are not going to use the print to put the numbers in there, but we'll be using variables mostly. So in this case, I'll use variables and we look at how to do it. So here my variable will be my number one will be equal to, let me see, 7. Yeah, that's what comes to my mind. So it's not anything. So then I can have another variable called number two. You say in variable there won't be space, right? So let me put it 10 over there. So I have two numbers, number one and number two. So containers number one, containers number two. And then I want to do simple addition, right? So added. So added is going to be equal to number one plus, just do plus number two. You see that? Oh, you see, I put space, so there was an error. So the container name is number two. So they make sure that the container that you are using, the name matches. So we have a third container that is taking, that's equal to the addition of number one and number two, which are containers containing 7 and 10. We did that. So this container, we basically call them variables, right? Yeah. So if you run this in currently, let's see what we will have. So I'm running this. There's nothing in between these two guys. We saw that there's nothing between that. The reason why I intentionally made it not to run it at this moment is for you to see the importance of print. I'm always stressing on that. So before you can see whatever you have, you have to actually make sure that you print that. So we are going to print the container added, because added is the one that contains the added item. So we are going to run that. So if you run that, you see that it's now 7. So I can change these containers, right? We are just doing simple addition. For the addition, let's do plus for that. So let me change it to 17, and then let's see. So let me change this one to 100. So basically we'll go and do the addition again. We'll run it, and I run this. Yeah, I have 117. So the addition is where. So basically Python just do your normal addition that you do as it's on your calculator. The next one to look at is subtraction, right? So let me clean this. We are left, we are going to subtraction. Yeah, so subtraction is the next one. For subtraction, it's not anything much. Also, we just do the subtraction sign. So I'm doing number one minus number two. Number two is 100, and then number one is 17. So we are basically doing 17 minus 100. So I know we got the result already, right? So we just run that. We get negative 83, because yes, of course, 17 minus 100. So I can change that. I just do number two minus number one. So when I did that, what do I have? So it's going to be positive 83 in this time, right? So Python does the same thing like we do every day. The next arithmetic operation that we are going to look at is obviously, yes, multiplication. Multiplication. So now for the multiplication, right? What do? Yeah, we are going to use the star For multiplication, use star because there's no cross. Don't go and use the X on your keyboard. And so just use the star, right? Star for multiplication in programming languages, especially when you're using the computer. So yeah, so it's going to be number 2 is 100 and number 1 is 17. So um 17 times 100 is going to be 1700, as we are seeing it here. So any number that you use for multiplication, just simply do your start to do the multiplication. That's just quite easy, right? We'll be doing that most at times. Now, the next one we are done with multiplication. I want to talk about exponent or something raised to a power, right? So for program in Python, if you want a particular thing, let me say number 2 is 8. Number 2 is 8. Let me just do number 2 is 3. And then number 1 is 2. So what I want to do is that I want to do number 2 to the power number 1. So number 2 is what? 3, right? And number 1 is 2. So to raise something to a power, right? So it's going to be the first one. In this case, to raise something to a power, you double the stars. The star is not going to be 1, but they are going to be 2. So if you do the 2 stars, it means that the next number that will come will be at the top of the previous one. You know you have something like 2 to the power 3, 2 to the power 4, right? So if you just do 2 star 3, we are doing simple multiplication. But if you do 2 star star 3, once you double the stars, you are not, the 3 is not going to be at the bottom, it's going to be at the power 2 to the power 3. That's what we are basically doing, right? So when you double it, you are giving more power, so it increases to the top. So let me run this. So if you what we have currently, we are having number 2, which is 3 times star star number 1. Star star means what? Exponent, right? Exponent number 1. That's 3 to the power 2. 3 to the power 2 is 9, right? All right, it's my, yeah, I think, no, let's see. Yes, so I was right. So we got 9. So we get 9. Let's reverse it, right? Let's make sure that, well, let's do number 2 star star number 2. That will be 3 power 3, right? 3 power 3. What do we have? 3 power 3. Is that not 27? Yeah, I'm right. I'm right again. So it's still 27. What's the next one? Let me do number. So you see, this is how you just play with these things. Once you know the operations, you can just reproduce whatever you do every day in the programming language. So we are taking our time to actually play with these things. Let me just do last one before we move to the next one. So wait for me. The next one I want to do is number 1 to the power number 2. Number 1 is a container containing 2, right? That's 2 to the power 3. 2 to the power 3 is going to be 8. Yeah, I got it again. Yes. So let's focus on the next one. That was multiplication. So now we go to division. We go to division. For division, for division, the symbol, there is no dot dot between on your keyboard, right? So the only thing that you have to use for this is this backslash. Use this backslash for divisions. That's all. Just that the dots are not there. So we just backslash. Is that no? That's forward slash. Forward slash. Because it's leaning forward, right? The backslash is be the one leaning backward. So we'll talk about when to use those ones. Currently, forward slash number 1 forward slash number 2 forward slash is for division. Forward slash is for division. So let's do the division. Number 1 forward slash, or number 1 divided by number 2. That is 2 divided by 3. What are we expecting? 0.66666. It's not 66. Now, let me change the numbers. I'm afraid of 66. So I'm going to use 20 and 7. Yeah, 20 and 7. Let me divide this. What do I have? Oh, 2.8571, whatever. The division was done. That's all. Yes. So we got the division. So anytime you are going to do division, you can use the backward or forward slash or forward slash. Yes, thank you. Now we are not done with divisions. So in divisions, right, when you divide a number by another, remember there's something like quotient, there's something like remainder. So quotient is just like the whole number part, the number that you get before the decimal point, right? So anything before the decimal point is the whole number part, anything after it is as a result of a remainder. Okay, so the whole number part, to fetch only the whole number part. In this case, we have 2.8 what, but the whole number part, meaning anything before the decimal point, right? Is we are going to have it, call it as our quotient or the main division, the main result of the division. So if there is something like 0.123, something at the back, or 0.2.00013, something, once there is something on top the decimal point which is not zero, right? Meaning there's going to be a remainder in that number, in that division. So here the whole number part is just 2. So what we are interested in, sometimes we are just interested in fetching that whole number part. To do that, we just go to the slash, right? We just use double slash. Python allows that. We use the double slash, then we are telling Python that, hey Python, I'm just interested in the first number before the decimal point. That's all. So let's run that and see what happens. See, I just got 2. The result is just 2. So this 2 is just telling you that that's the whole number part. You see, when we did it first, we got 2.8 something, 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 right? But we were just interested in the 2 before the decimal. Anything after the decimal, we are not concerned, but we want to work with only the 2. That's basically what we have over here. What if you want to fetch the remainder? You see, I told you that once there is 2 points and then there is something like 8 something, and after the decimal point, at least there's a number which is not zero, a non-zero number. Then it means that there's a remainder, but it doesn't mean that those numbers after the decimal point are the actual remainders. But like there's a, it's just giving you an idea. There's a remainder, right? But if everything after it is 000, then the remainder is 0. But if there's anything else, then it means that there's a remainder. So we need to actually fetch that remainder. Sometimes we are interested in the whole number part, which is the quotient. Another time we are just interested in the remainder. So how do we fetch the remainder? We just basically change this one to the percentage. So you just use the percentage sign, to fetch the remainder. So if you want to fetch the remainder, you just do this. So the remainder. So let me play that. Let me run that and see. Yeah, 6. So the remainder in this case is 6. 20 divided by 7, right? Let's do that. So 20 divided by 7. In 20, how many 7s are inside? 2. That's 14, right? So 2 of the 7 are 14. But then what's left from 14 to 20? What is left? 6. So 6 is the remainder. But when we did the normal division, what did we get? We got only, like this one, we got only, we got 2.857. So there's something on it. So you might be thinking that the 8857 after the decimal point is the remainder. No, it's just giving an information that, hey, after the decimal point there are values. So those values are telling me, the presence of those values is telling you that there is a remainder somewhere. And how do we fetch that remainder? We just change our forward slash to yeah, percentage. That's it. So right. So let me run it again so that we can see it again. Yeah, Python is not a drunkard, right? So what we have 6 again. That's what Python does, right? So basically, these are the basic arithmetic operations that we have, right? Yes. So we'll be doing a lot of how do you call it? A lot of operations, a lot of when we are solving problems with this knowledge, right? We see a lot of technicalities around it. Then we all move around, move along together, and actually be solving problems alongside. I hope you have enjoyed this. Stay with us so that we do the next one to also understand uh, comparison operators in Python.